Green Cooling scores with the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show.
Well, hello, it's midweek. My name's Dave Parkinson and this is the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show. Back again across your airwaves, across Spreaker, across wherever you get your podcasts from. So, we are the Community Rugby League Show, and of course we're going to be talking about all of the things that are happening in the community game. Now, admittedly, we haven't got quite as many games as normal to talk about. Over the past weekend, there wasn't that much happening, although there was the Barlow Cup final, so I'll have a report from that game. And I was over at the North West Men's League fixture between Folly Lane and Haresfinch. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes' time. I also caught up with the Haresfinch joint boss, Mark Saunders, and you'll hear all that interview as well. Right, but let's crack on. And let's start first of all in Cumbria. Now, there was no action in Cumbria at all last weekend. However, this weekend is a pretty special one on the calendar because it's the semi-finals of the Fur Press Printers Cumberland Cup, and they're both taking part this coming Friday. So on the day, you've got Wathbrow hosting Louker and Kells hosting Maryport. The only other game this weekend up in Cumbria from a Carla point of view is in the Holman Iggesund Cumberland League Division 1, and that includes Flimby taking on Askham. Now over to the North West Men's League, and certainly in the middle of last week, yes, I was one of those hardy few that ventured across to Folly Lane. Got to say, great little club. To be fair, it's a place I've never been before, which is quite surprising when you consider the amount of places that I certainly have been and where I've got to over the course of following Community Rugby League. But I was made to feel welcome. It's a cracking place in Swinton, of course. Swinton's very own. They've been holding their own as well in the Premier Division of the North West Men's League this year, and they were hosting Haresfinch. Now, Haresfinch, they've always been one of those sides that has respected Folly Lane because they've gone through the divisions with them, and this was no different. Actually, Folly Lane took the lead after 7 minutes, Jay Boyd scoring the first of his 2 tries, but soon enough, Haresfinch were on the board themselves with fullback Josh Ainsworth, who had an excellent game. He eventually scored a try and 6 goals. He opened the scoring with a lovely dummy and cut through and converted, and it was soon 18 points to 4. This was after further tries from Jordan Horton and Liam Hill. However, Folly Lane, they did hit back with a try of their own through Josh Stafford. He was their fullback, and he too had an excellent game for Folly Lane. Chimed into the line really well and defended everything at the back. Took some real gusto to bring down as well. He had a big influence on the way that Folly Lane played. So at half time, it was 20 points to 10 in favour of Haresfinch. Just a couple of minutes into the new half, Jay Boyd comes up with an intercept, goes about 60 metres to score underneath the post and converts, bringing it to 20 points to 16 in favour of Haresfinch. And then there was arguably the try of the game. It was certainly the finish of the game. Veteran winger Danny Large somehow getting the ball grounded in the field of play and managing to get the try right in the corner. A magnificent finish. I think if this had been NRL or Super League, we'd be watching it, we'd be talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Unfortunately, there's just me and my little camera that were there to capture the action. But it was a really outstanding finish, to be honest, from Danny Large. And despite Mike Halsall pulling a further try back for Folly Lane and another goal from Jay Boyd, his 3rd of the game, making it 24-22. It was Haresfinch that finished strong enough with a couple of late tries. The last one scored by Brad Davis. As I mentioned, Josh Ainsworth kicked 6 goals out of 7 attempts. It finished Folly Lane 22, Haresfinch 36. after the game, I caught up with Mark Saunders, and this is our conversation. Well, it's another midweek, another win as far as Finch are concerned, but perhaps this one, Mark, your toughest of the season up here at Folly Lane.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be the toughest. It's always a tough place to come in, and we've come through the leagues with Folly the last couple of years, and it's always been a good game. You know, we hammered them first game at season, but I think they had a few missing. But we know coming here it was always going to be tough. So yeah, made up with that win.
I've got to say as well, some quality finishes. I mean, that one from Danny Large, if that was in a Super League game, that'd be getting shown left, right and centre, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, he's done that a few times, Danny, to be honest. I still remember, I think he did one at Wigan St Cuthbert's 2 years ago with the last play of the game. And yeah, he's got great athleticism for an old man.
I'll tell you what, I bet he'd take that though.
Oh, he'll take that all day, definitely.
Got to say though, I mean, like these midweeks, they're always hard to get up for. Obviously, lads have been at work all day, different type of preparation. So I suppose sometimes you're just after the wins, aren't you?
Yeah, to be honest, at this stage of the season, a win's a win. And you know, that's what I said to him in the changing rooms then. I said to him, you can stand there, be critical as a coach. We've won 5 tries, we didn't do this, didn't do that. But a win's a win at this stage, and it's just one step closer to finishing top.
And you had to show a bit of character there as well. I mean, they fought back, they got that intercept right at the start of the second half.
Yeah.
It made it nip and tuck, didn't it?
Definitely, it was 22-20, they had the tails up, you know, they've got the home crowd here, so yeah, we did well stick in there and just carry on going. But that's what we're about this year, the character, attitude, it is totally different.
And as well, you know, do you just put this down to the hard work and will and want of everybody? I know last time when we were chatting, you'd said that the line in the sand was that Challenge Cup game early on.
Yeah, we put it down to, I think, skill levels, fitness levels, attitude this year is the big difference. It's my 3rd year down here, and I don't think we've ever been as fit as what we are this year. So yeah, it's been really good, and it's just, I think as well, you know yourself, once you get so close to winning something, it just makes you hungrier. So I think we've got that hunger now as well. So
that was certainly a hungry finish, wasn't it? I mean, 2 tries in the last 4 minutes.
Definitely, and it just shows, you know, we just keep going to the end. We keep starting slow for some reason. I've no idea why, but yeah, we're an 80-minute team these days, and we just keep going. We never know. We certainly, obviously, we don't know when we'll beat, because we've not lost in the league this year.
Mark, congratulations. I believe this is number 12. I think I got excited last time, right?
Yeah, this is 12. We've got Oral next, and obviously if we beat Oral, they can't catch us for top spot. And then we've got a tough game away at Haresfinch again, which is midweek. No idea how we're going to manage that. And then we've got Latchford in a 4 points, and they've promised us they will come, so fingers crossed they do.
I mean, that's an interesting situation, you know. Certainly if you do get sides that do flunk on fixtures, that we've got these 4 points. Not how anybody wants to win them, to be fair, yeah. But I still think it's an interesting concept, that.
Yeah, it is definitely, and it's, you know, obviously they had injury troubles last week before apparently, so they told us that it would be a 4 pointer, and obviously hopefully they will. They've told us they'll fulfil the fixture, because, you know, it's a sponsored game for us. The sponsor's already paid up. It's a big day for the club as well. It's our last home game of the regular league season, so yeah, fingers crossed they stick to the word. And
it's one that you can really celebrate as a club, isn't it?
Oh, it's massive, you know. Finishing top of the Premier League in only our 2nd year is something else, yeah, it really is.
Mark, I'll go and let you enjoy it. Thank you so much again, mate.
Cheers, Parker. See you soon.
Mark Saunders there, understandably happy to get another win under the belt. And I think last time that I mentioned about Haresfinch, I said that was the 12th victory. Well, this in fact was the 12th victory. And if I have a quick look at what that table looks like in the Premier Division, well, Haresfinch top, 12 out of 12. Oral St James are second, 3 points behind, having played 1 game more. Blackbrook are third, 5 points behind Oral St James, and currently Ashton Burrs hold 4th spot and the last playoff position by virtue of point difference over Halton Farnworth Hornets. Heysham Atoms are in 6th, Folly Lane are 7th, Shevington Sharks 8th, Latchford Albion in 9th. But yeah, Haresfinch top the table, 24 points out of 24. Then Oral St James with 21 out of 24. Blackbrook down on 16. And if we look at results elsewhere, In Division 1, Ulverston 24, Dalton 38, Wigan St Cuthbert's 24, Goulburn Parkside 6. And in Division 3, Kelly's Head Rhinos 16, Blackpool Scorpions 14. And in Division 4, Orrell St James A 0, Haydock 24. And your fixtures in the North West Men's League, all of the action gets underway on Thursday evening. So that's tomorrow in the Premier Division when Blackbrook host Ashton Burrs. That's certainly a game that I'm hoping to get myself along to. So if you're going as well, I'll see you there, no doubt. Elsewhere in the Premier Division on Saturday, Shevington Sharks host Folly Lane. Holton Farmworth Hornets, they're at home to Latchford Albion. Orrell St James go over to Haresfinch. That is a real humdinger of a game in prospect there. So Orrell St James, they need to win to maintain this charge towards the top end of the division. Haresfinch, I think they already wrap up the championship. I think if they can get a result. And then elsewhere, we have Division 1 fixtures. And on Saturday, Ulverston host Wigan St Cuthbert's. Goulburn Parkside are away at Hindley. Burtonwood Bridge host Salford City Roosters. Thatto Heath Crusaders A are away at Dalton. And West Horton Lions, they've got a local derby against Chorley Panthers. That's a good one to look forward to from that. And then in Division 2, your fixtures see Wigan Springview host Waterhead Warriors A side. Westbank Bears go over to Lee Miners Rangers A. Rochdale Mayfield A host Newton Storm. And Roost Pioneers, they're at home to Hindpool Tigers. A small matter of a local derby there as well. Division 3 fixtures, well, they pit Clockface Miners up against Wigan St Jude's. Banky Bulls go over to Higginshaw. Kelly's Head Rhinos are travelling over to Runcorn. And in Division 4, West Horton Lions A are at home to Chester Gladiators. A 12:45 kick-off there, by the way. Haydock Warriors are set to host Culcheth Eagles. Orrell St James A are hosting the Langworthy Reds. And those are your fixtures from the North West Men's League this week. And if we shuffle across to the Yorkshire Men's League, certainly there was a few more results that took place at the weekend. A couple of friendlies as well, by the way, so I'll bring you up to date with those. These results happened last Friday. So in the friendlies, Stanley Rangers Reserves 4, Stanningley 28, and Harrogate Hawks 42, Ossett Trinity Tigers A 4. Then, in no particular order, as this is how it's been put on the screen in front of me, New Ayswick All Blacks 14, Ellenden Greetland 38 from Division 3. From Division 2, Illingworth 16, Brighouse Rangers 20. From the Premier Division, Westgate Common 30, Almondry Spartans 32. That sounds like a classic game, does that? And in Division 6, Guiseley Rangers had too much for Rycroft Hammers, defeating them by 44 points to 24. In Division 5, Derby Elks got a 24-0 result against Garforth Tigers. Linley St Joseph's just got the better of the Dearne Valley Bulldogs, also in Division 5 by 26 points to 18. And it sounds like this game was an absolute cracker between Castleford Panthers and Seacroft Sharks in Division 2. The Sharks winning this one by 26 points to 22. Meanwhile, in Division 1, Murfield 28, Ossett Trinity Tigers 20. And from Division 4, York Barbarians 26, West Craven Warriors 16. And Division 3, I think I might have already mentioned this one, New Ayswick All Blacks 14, Ellenden Greetland 38. And finally in the Premier Division, Doncaster Tollbar picked up a notable away success at Newsham Panthers. So, some excellent results on a much abridged fixture list for the Yorkshire Men's League. Looking forward to the fixtures from this coming weekend. And it all starts off on Wednesday evening. So tonight, as we're recording the show, Division 1, and there's a game set to take place between Charleston Rovers and Murfield. Looking forward to seeing what the result of that one was. Meanwhile, in the Premier Division on Saturday, Freiston Warriors are at home to Westgate Common. Almonry Spartans, they host Newson Panthers. Stanley Rangers, they're away at Doncaster Toll Bar. And Keighley Albion, they're hosting King Cross Park. A little bit of a local derby, I suppose, between those two sides. Certainly King Cross Park up in Halifax, and of course Keighley Albion from Keighley. So not too much in distance between those two teams. In Division 1, your fixtures this week, well, other than Charleston and Murfield, which is taking place as we're recording. On Saturday, Bradford Dudley Hill host Hunslet ARLFC. Ossett Trinity Tigers, they host Charleston Rovers. Cutsyke Raiders are away at Siddle Academy, and Murfield are set to play against Wibsey Warriors. So, pretty interesting few days for both Charleston Rovers and Murfield, who are doubling up both on the Wednesday and playing on the Saturday as well. In Division 2, your fixtures this week, well, that sees Birkenshaw Blue Dogs host the Castleford Panthers. Emley Moor Cougars go over to Brighouse Rangers. Seacroft Sharks, they're away at Mull Green. And in Division 3, your fixtures are Bramley Buffaloes hosting Dodworth Miners. Upton are over at Wyke. Birstall Victoria are over at York Acorn. And in Division 4, Goole Vikings, they host Underbank Rangers. Ulton Raiders are at home against West Craven Warriors. York Barbarians are over at the Sherburn Bears. And in Division 5, Batley host Linley St Joseph's. Dernt Valley Bulldogs are set to take on the Derby Elks as well. And Division 6. Just a couple of fixtures from this particular division. So King Cross Park Academy, they're hosting Hemsworth Dragons. Rycroft Hammers are over at the Moortown Mambas. And Keighley Albion Academy, they're over at Charleston Rovers Academy. So that's your fixtures this week in the Yorkshire Men's League. Looking ahead to the National Conference League Alliance Division, Eastmoor Dragons set to take on West Bowling Academy. And Heworth up against Milford. Shawcross Sharks hosting Stanningley.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
Now, it was the big weekend in the Barla National Cup. The Blue Ribbon event took place at Featherstone on Sunday, and it was an all-northwest affair between Thatto Heath Crusaders and Orrell St James. Our man Phil Hodgson was there, and this is his report that he's penned for the League Express this week. So Thatto Heath, who fielded what was essentially their National Conference League Premier Division side, proved to be too strong for North West Men's League big guns in matching the existing record of 4 National Cup final victories. Orrell, moving the ball crisply, applied a fair amount of pressure in the early stages, but the Crusaders, inspired by a 30-metre clearing run by the Tom Keaveney MBE Memorial Award Man of the Match Sean Lester, established a lead they were destined not to lose. From the territory gained, elusive winger Keane Guilford darted in from the touchline in the 7th minute, and Leicester added the extras. Thatto, helped by 3 successive penalties awarded by authoritative referee Dan Geddes, were 10 points clear a couple of minutes later. Guilford flying in at the corner after Ryan Huff, Sean Kenny, Jack Jones and Leicester had all combined in style. Matters got worse for Orrell when hooker Ben Cottrell was sin-binned midway through the first half for a tip tackle. The Saints had a reprieve though, with a penalty in their own 20, but failed to find touch, and from Dave Pike's raid, Ryan Horton raced over. Leicester couldn't convert in the blustery wind, but the fullback was on target when impressive loose forward Andy Lee charged through from 15 metres to establish a 20-0 advantage. Orrell gave themselves some hope when winger Jack Gallagher, who was also outstanding in defence, raced from his own 20 after Crusaders chasers overran their own kick. His raid ending with the equally impressive Kai Siani showing fine pace for a prop to touch down from 30 metres. Cottrell was off target with his conversion attempt, and Orrell were unable to make the most of the sin binning of Heath's Conor Dwyer 9 minutes into the second half for descent. In fact, 12-man Thato extended their lead when, following a goal line dropout, Guildford notched his hat-trick score, courtesy of Horton's long ball. That was enough to seal victory, with Brad Kelk snaring a last-second consolation try, which Cottrell couldn't improve for the Saints. Minutes earlier, 3 men, Josh Wild of Orrell, together with Thato's Brad Ashurst and Lee, had been sin-binned for little more than pushing when both sets of players came together in a maul. The Crusaders' secretary, Dave Sharples, who paid tribute to the hospitality show by Barla and Featherstone Rovers, said, "We'll be entering this great competition every year, and we recommend that lots of other sides do the same. It's an experience that shouldn't be missed." His coach Mike Woods added, "After withstanding Orrell for the first 5 minutes, we got on the front foot through Sean Lester and never looked back. We're very proud to have won the National Cup 4 times, and Keane Guildford, who has a leg injury, was outstanding. Orrell were very, very impressive. They kept us under pressure, even after we'd gone well in front." Orrell's boss Sean McHugh also said, "I'm proud of our lads, especially as we had 12 regulars out through injury. A big difference was that Thato made us pay for our mistakes, but we were unable to do likewise." So yeah, good result that for Thato Heath Crusaders. Well done to them on lifting the Barla National Cup. And I can't help but echo some of those sentiments. It would be great to see more community sides enter the Barla National Cup. Certainly in years gone by, as myself and Steve, who unfortunately can't be with me tonight, but I'm sure he'd attest to, we found some old Open Rugby magazines, and that competition just used to be so big. It had so many entrants, and they had to do so many different rounds of fixtures before coming out to a final. But yeah, some fantastic memories made there for Thato Heath Crusaders. Well done to them on defeating Orrell St James by 24 points to 8.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
Now, before our National Conference League roundup, I've got a couple of news stories to bring to you, both of which are based in Dewsbury, by the way. So the first one flashed across my timeline on Facebook a couple of days ago now, and this came from Shawcross Sharks, and announcement was that Paul March, the esteemed coach, will be stepping down as head coach at the completion of the 2024 National Conference League season. The official release said, "Paul has managed both jobs as head coach of Shawcross and Dewsbury Rams since he took over the Rams job earlier this season, and he's done so without it affecting the commitment he puts into either job. Unfortunately, this isn't an arrangement that will work in the long term, and Marchie will commit everything to the task of building a new squad at Dewsbury for the 2025 League One season at such a pivotal time for them following their confirmed relegation at the weekend. We have to say that we understand and respect this decision, and as much as we're disappointed to lose a head coach of such calibre, we know that Paul will still be around Shawcross. He's the hardest working man in the game, and hopefully this will give a greater work-life balance for him, Jody and the boys. Over the last 4 seasons, Paul March has transformed the fortunes of our open age setup to make them something that we can all be proud of once again. From a team that was struggling at the bottom of the National Conference League to the team that we see today that has just celebrated a second promotion under him in that time, he's brought structure, confidence and togetherness to the club, and we owe him massive thanks for that. We can't afford to spend too long looking backwards though. We have 2 games left of the 2024 season, which the team are determined to end as champions, and under the leadership of Marchie, we have the belief that we can do just that. We now are inviting expressions of interest for the role of head coach for the 2025 Division 1 season, which will be treated with strict confidence. If you're hearing this at the moment and you're thinking, that's a job that I can do. You've got to be level 2 coaching qualified. You've got to have a little bit of experience as well of coaching open age players. And if that sounds like you, all applicants will be treated with the strictest of confidence. You've got to email a CV and a cover letter over to mick@ravensport.com. That's a CV and cover letter over to mick@ravensport.com. So it'll be a fond farewell to Paul March for the time being, but his loss for Shawcross Sharks is definitely Dewsbury Rams' gain. I was over at Dewsbury the other week, one of the defeats that they suffered, which has ultimately led to them getting relegated from the Championship. But I tell you what, he does have the basis of a very good side there, and I'm sure that with a full pre-season under his belt and time to actually mould his own squad there, he'll prove to be a real success over at Dewsbury. But yes, what a journey it's been over the last 4 years for Shawcross. As the press release mentioned there, when he took over, they were in Division 3. They're going to start next season in Division 1. 2 promotions. Brilliant. Really, really good. But I wonder whether they can complete the job and go up as champions with these 2 games that remain. All to be decided.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
Now, staying in Dewsbury, and if we just go across town, so this is to Dewsbury Moor, they've had a project that's been going on for some time now. They've been developing some facilities right down pitch side where they can sell drinks and food, have it as a cafe as well. I think this shows real forward thinking as well from Dewsbury Moor, and I'm delighted to report that the building is now up. It's all ready for its grand opening. I received a message on Twitter just a couple of hours ago now as I'm recording this from Christian Floyd, and he said our latest club project completed and opened this week with a big tick next to it. Brand new pitch side facility transformation, and it certainly is. He's done one of those before and after shots, and I've got to be honest, it's something that Holmes under the hammer would be really, really proud of. It's gone from being a couple of the storage containers which were in the corner there just as you drive down through the estate to the main pitches there at Dewsbury Moor. And there is now a free-standing building there. It's got the shuttered up. It looks really, really smart. If you're going down to Dewsbury Moor, make sure that you check it out. But I think that'll be a real boost as well to all the off-field stuff that they've got going on. And it certainly will encourage more people to get down to the pitch side there and really support everything that club has going on.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
Now over to the National Conference League, and there's only 3 games to really bring you up to speed with. 1 from Division 3, 2 from Division 2, all of which pretty important when you look at kind of like what can happen and the ultimate outcomes that everyone's looking forward to towards this back end of the season now. And all the action started last Thursday evening in Division 3 when Milford enjoyed a 16-10 success at Bentley. So Milford led by 10 points to 6 at half time, eventually winning 16 points to 10. So Milford's tries came courtesy of Todd, Stevenson and Dutton, Kaywood kicking 2 goals. Meanwhile for Bentley, Marshall and Craswell went over for tries, with Sykes adding the goal. What that does to the league table? Well, not too much actually, but it does mean now that Milford edge above Bentley. And just a few weeks ago, Bentley were looking like they had perhaps a little bit of an advantage leading into the back end of the season when they were just a couple of points behind Lee East, but Beverley seemed to have overtaken them over the last few weeks, and as a result they've gone into that final playoff position. Elsewhere in Division 2, two results to tell you about. So both of these took place on Saturday. And if you remember earlier on in the season, Millom and Normanton was a game that actually got called off after about 20 minutes. So Normanton had originally travelled up with I think 10 men and had picked up a couple of injuries in that 20 minutes, which meant that the game couldn't be completed. So they had a full lineup of players this time round. They went up to Millom and it finished Millom 30, Normanton Knights 18. Normanton scoring tries through Joe, Crossland, Robinson and Barker. Barker also kicking 3 goals. All of those 18 points, by the way, coming in the second half. That was after Millom had built a 12-0 advantage in the first. So Rio McQuiston scored a try. Jack Newbegin also popped up for a score. Blinkhorn, Harris and O'Brien, the other try scorers. Postlethwaite kicking all of the 5 goals that he was asked to do. That's a great result, that, for Millom. Just keeps them 2 points ahead of the drop zone with just a couple of games remaining. Arguably, though, they could do with those couple of victories just to make sure that they don't get dragged into a relegation scrap with these couple of games remaining. Elsewhere, Myton Warriors, they're certainly fighting for their lives. They hosted Thornhill Trojans and they beat them as well by 38 points to 16. So I thought Myton were dead and buried a couple of weeks ago. But again, they're picking up results at home. They're doing particularly well. That was their 5th win of the season. They've got a draw as well. They're still bottom of the table, but they really have closed that gap. So Saddleworth have 12 points. Barrow Island have 12. Pilkington Rex have 14 with an inferior point difference to Millom, who are also on 14 points. It's going to be one hell of a scrap. But to bring you up to speed on that particular game, Myton Warriors tries coming courtesy of Sanderson. Robinson grabbed 3. Piggott, James, Walker and Ward, the other scorers. Sanderson kicking 3 goals. And for the Trojans, there were tries from Craven, Pritchard and Ward, with Lee adding 2 goals. But to be fair, Myton Warriors were doing really, really well at half-time, where they'd already established a 22 points to 8 advantage. So that's a great result, and it really does keep the interest going at both ends of the Division 2 table, because, as we said up at the top, Shawcross Sharks, they're on 38 points, 2 points clear of Wigan St Jude's, but there's only 2 games left to play. Is there enough time for Wigan St Jude to try and overhaul Shawcross Sharks and get declared as champions, or will it be the long-time leaders of the Sharks who'll win that battle? Certainly, if we look ahead to the fixtures this weekend, again, all to play for. In the Premier Division, relegation threatened Kells, they host Worthborough Hornets. That's a fixture that's happening on Friday night. Then on Saturday in the Premier Division, Egremont host Heworth. Hunslet are at home to Siddle in what looks like the blue ribbon tie of the round. West Bowling host Thatto Heath Crusaders. West Hull have another big game on the horizon against Rochdale Mayfield. Lock Lane go over to York Acorn. And in Division 1, Crossfields are set to host Lee Miners Rangers. Dewsbury Moor Maroons, they're hosting Clockface Miners. So if you're heading across to that one, that's certainly one of those fixtures where you'll be able to check those brand new facilities that are opening up pitch side there at Dewsbury Moor. Elsewhere, Hull Dockers host Stanningley. Ince Rose Bridge are at home to Skirtler. Waterhead could see the Division 1 title confirmed with just a point against Alton Raiders, although defeat for Lee Miners Rangers at Crossfields would also hand them the title as well. Elsewhere, Wigan St Pat's host Woolston Rovers. That's an interesting looking tie as well between those two. In Division 2, Dewsbury Celtic host Shawcross Sharks. Wow, there'll be sparks flying in that one as it's another Dewsbury derby. Millom host Myton Warriors. That's a real 4-pointer. A win there for Millom will save their bacon. A win there for Myton could potentially move them a step closer to safety with one game remaining thereafter. Oldham St Anne's, who've struggled of late, they host Normanton Knights, while Saddleworth play against Barrow Island, so one of those sides is going to move up to 14 points. Which one's it going to be? That's going to be an interesting tie. Thornhill host Pilkington Rex. Wigan St Jude's, they're up against Ellenborough Rangers in Division 3. Dissington host Hensingham. Milford are away at Driglington. East Leeds host Lee East. And Bentley, they're away at Featherstone Lions, with Seaton Rangers hosting Beverley. So it's all culminating in what looks like it's a really, really big weekend ahead for the National Conference League. Wherever you're going to be watching your community rugby over the next few days, I hope you enjoy it. And if you are going to be over at Blackbrook on Thursday night, well, I'll see you there. Next week, we're hoping to get back to normal. I know it's been a couple of weeks where there's just been myself that's been on the mic, and I'm sure that you'd love to hear what Steve thinks about it all. But we'll be back with a full roundup and bringing you all the news as usual. Go and enjoy your rugby league, because I sure as heck do.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.